What's cracking, everybody? XehrFelrose here, bringing you some Pokemon Go Battle League content. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at one of my new favorite meta teams featuring the newly buffed Shadow Alolan Sandslash in the Open Ultra League. Let's jump straight into these battles to see what it's all about. We've got double water in the back to cover the fire and fighting weaknesses of Sandslash, and we get a Shadow Wall Rain right up front here in this first battle. So what I like to do with these is I like to throw the Drill Run right away, and then I'm going to build up some energy until the opponent would be at an Earthquake and then swap to catch it on the Jellicent. So, man, I'm nailing the commentary. I never go this hot in the first, like, 10 seconds of the video. Go me. So Icicle Spear is resisted. They're going to come in with a Haxorus. So Haxorus is a newly buffed Community Day Pokemon that I have yet to find a good team around that I'm looking forward to trying in the near future. Breaking Swipe does lower the attack, and it just does a bit of damage. It's like Dragon Claw. Like, it does damage because Haxorus is so attack weighted. That thing actually hits pretty hard. And it can grind through a lot of matchups now because of it. It's really cool. I love Haxorus. And I don't have a shiny on any of my good IVs. So, I hate it. But my opponent's going to go for the Night Slash here. And not willing to give up a second shield. It looks like they're going to let this go. Yeah, they let it go. And Jellicent Hex is down, living with 1 HP. Even though mine is not super great IVs. Hanging on by a thread there is really awesome. And given that my opponent does have the energy for the potential Earthquake here, I think I should... Yeah, okay. No, I call it bait. Did they? I don't think they had enough then. Oh, I remember this battle now. Yep, so they didn't have enough. They, like, went, like, just a couple shy and through, and I was like, what are you doing? So they let it go. So Gengar on the lead here, really awkward for me. Can't really swap out. Doing super effective damage back with the Shadow Claws, but their Shadow Claws do hurt. So I'm going to throw it 6 right before they would get to their Shadow Ball. And I'm going to throw this Ice Punch, hopefully get a shield off my opponent. I'm not looking to catch the Shadow Ball. I will actually shield this up, respecting their Shadow Ball. And if the next one's a Shadow Punch, then so be it. They do bait me with the Shadow Punch. I go for CMP like a doofus, not thinking that they were going to get to the Shadow Punch right away, but they did, and they do, and I looked stupid for it. So I'm going to go for this Ice Punch here. I just want to get rid of this Gengar now, and I'm looking to possibly swap right away. They come straight in with a S-Cav, and they come in now as a counter swap to my Jellicent safe swap with Trevenant, which is very common. And when my opponent has 2 shields, I typically bait the Surf, but now, since I know they only have 1 shield, I will actually just go straight for the Shadow Ball in case they want to try to call a bait here. Because not having that last shield is great, but my opponent goes for a Seed Bomb here, and now gives me an opportunity to destroy this Trevenant's face. And I decide not to take it. I'm going to get this, I'm going to get the farm on my Sandslash here, or at least a little bit of it. I'm going to save the shield for the Tapu Fini, which is really my win condition at this point. Man, in hindsight, I wish I had just gone for the Shadow Ball, man, jeez. I wish I had just done it. You know, hindsight, and Jellicent is definitely has 2 types here, so let's fix that real quick. Poor Jellicent. Poor Jellicent. Fini's got 2 types too. I must not have fixed it from the last video. So anyway, as you can probably see what's happening on screen here, the S-Cav in the back. I saved the shield initially for the Tapu Fini, but my opponent got to a move. I didn't know that they would. So I'm going to just take them out with Tapu Fini, and that's it. They do not have enough damage on either Mega Horn nor Drill Run to take me out. The Mega Horn is resisted, will not take me out. Tapu Fini farms down, and that's going to be a good game. Now, as I said in Monday's video, I did some new stuff with the transitions, so let me know in the comments how you like it. Just kind of new to this whole thing. I felt like the X was like, it was nice, but it was a little too much. So we're gonna let them shield up that Drill Run, and then gonna come in with the Tapu Fini because we do resist the Ice Punch, forces them to throw the neutral and non-stab Drill Runs, which Drill Runs do more damage, but they also take a little bit more energy, which is nice. So we'll be able to get to a Surf here against the Sandslash if we so choose, and with a shield advantage, I feel like that's kind of nice to go for it here. I'm not expecting to be able to get to a farm down here unless they go for the Ice Punch. So they do go for the Ice Punch. I believe I was counting, and even if it is enough, you know, I'm gonna let it go. It's fine. Oh no, it was a Drill Run. All right, so I was expecting it to be an Ice Punch. I didn't think it was a Drill Run, but that's fine. I'm gonna get farmed down on my Sandslash here, which is just as good. My opponent comes in with Registeel. So I'm going to throw the Ice Punch to do some chip damage, maybe get the shield, and then my opponent is just going to have to deal with Jellicent now. And they do not have Leaf Blade, because if they did, I assume they would have thrown it. So the Gliscor comes back in now, and Gliscor does not appreciate Surfs being thrown its way. And really, honestly, Ice Slashes don't hurt that much until they're boosted. So I'm going to let this go. and I've dealt with Gliscor, as you all, if you have been watching the channel for more than a few, you'll have known that I did hit Legend with Shadow Gliscor last season, so I have a pretty good idea of what it does as far as damage output. Plus, I bring it just about every week in my factions matches too, so... So we're going to just let that go, and I'm going to be able to get this Surf off. I'm either going to take out this... I'm going to be able to take out this Gliscor, or get their... No, they don't have a shield. They already shielded. I'm already gone, man. Already not paying attention to my own battles. I just need to get up to the Ice Punches here, and I'm pretty sure Alolan Sandslash wins CMP, and that's going to be able to take out the Virizion. Not that they could have 3 Sacred Swords if they wanted to anyway. So now that we're a couple of games in, like and subscribe if you like this content, you like seeing it. I'd love to keep delivering it, and if you're interested, hit that bell for subscriptions when I upload my videos, or notifications for when I upload the videos. Anyway, I don't know. I don't usually try to ask for that kind of stuff. I just figured, go for it. Shoot your shot, man. So, the Registeel leads. I have to stay in. Obviously, you know that you and I both know that Zap Cannon hurts the waters in the back, very much so. And here's the thing that I've noticed. Every Registeel shields the first drill run and then goes for Zap Cannon. And if I ever call that correctly, I guarantee you I'm going to hit a Focus Blast in the first move. So I have to respect it, but I know that from the way that these players have been doing this, is every single move, like if you throw the drill run first and they no shield it, then they're probably not going to throw Zap Cannon, because most Registeel players want to make sure that they shield the first move so that they can Zap Cannon, get the debuff, and not take less damage afterwards. It's a sound thing. It makes sense. I have no shields left. Opponent's going to go for Focus Blast. My face is clapped. All of my Sandslash's HP, and probably the amount of HP that it would take to resurrect 16 Sandslashes just went out the window. So I'm going to have to go for my Shadow Ball. I'm hoping that my opponent threw right away, because I was trying to keep count. So I go for 15 turns, which is going to be enough for their Focus Blast. Shadow Ball will take out the Registeel, and I'm just hoping in the back that they're weak to my waters. So Jellicent is going to come in, and they are actually going to have to get to a Shadow Ball before I do, but they go for the extra Hex, and my Jellicent has some attack weight to it, so unless they built like a Hundo or something, they ain't winning CMP. And then I'm going to drop in my Tapu Fini, because I don't want to take super effective damage on my Jellicent. My opponent is going to go build up some energy. They're going to go for another Shadow Ball against my Tapu Fini, and that's fine. I'm just hoping that my Jellicent's going to be enough to deal with whatever's in the back, because whatever was in the back was less of an answer than my own Jellicent was, so, or than their Jellicent. You know what I meant. So, Fini's going to get the Surf off. My opponent has a Ninetales in the back, and there's a Charm Ninetales, and now this is not so good because I wasn't able to... I should have just gone for the farm down, man. Should have gone for it. So I'm not going to be able to get to the 2 Shadow Balls that's going to be needed here, because as you can see, the Charms are chunking my face off, and I am not going to be able to get to a move. They're going to go for the Side Shock, and they're going to win the game. Very well played to my opponent. They did very good here. Unfortunately, my Sandslash was not going to get aligned to that Ninetales regardless, so... all's well. Obstagoon in the lead really sucks. So I'm going to ditch the Jellicent anyway. I know that it's a Ghost. I know that Obstagoon beats Ghosts, but there's 2 things that are good about this plan, right? So the first thing is that I still have Surf. I can still do damage to this thing. It's not like I'm rocking Bubble Beam like a fool. And the second thing here is that the Sandslash is no longer aligned to this Obstagoon, and my opponent is staying in this matchup and playing it out, and further making the alignment gap wider, which now they're going to bring in their Giratina. I got Shadow Balls. I'm going to let them rip. You are not going to get a bait from me. I hate baiting, and I probably won't. So if you're ever against me, you should probably take complete advantage of that and just shield everything, because I don't bait all that much. So the opponent decides to commit 0 shields to this. So now not only have I gotten the alignment gap widened, but I've also completely flipped it, because they decided to let me have alignment. So now they have a Tapu Fini up against their Obstagoon, and I'd hate to see what's in the back, because Giratina clearly did not want to see my Sandslash, so that's interesting. And the opponent also decided to shield that up, and they have a Cresselia come in now in Sandslash. I don't know if y'all have ever seen this matchup, but Sandslash absolutely rolls the Cress because it resists everything. Super effective Shadow Claws are going to chunk this Cress, and the Drill Runs help. So Moonblast, tink! Doesn't do anything. Doesn't do anything. And the Drill Runs do enough damage to make this a good matchup. I mean, any Steel type is going to wall Cress. We know that. My opponent is so scared they have shield. And it's fine with me because I don't want them to get their Obstagoon in here at any point. I don't want the Goon in here unless I've got enough energy. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to save 2 shields for my Tapu Fini because I can, and because my switch clock is almost up. One of those things that's good to do, by the way, trainers, is when your switch clock is about to come back up or is getting close to, just try to plan for having the extra energy so that if your switch clocks are misaligned by a little bit, you can still you can still go for a move and reset the clock and come back in, so you don't have to take a bunch of fast move damage like I would have if I hadn't done that. So Aurorus in this case, I've been seeing a lot of Aurorus lately, and Virizion too. So Sandslash has a good matchup here, but I have double water in the back, so I need to swap at some point to check and see if my opponent's got a the Trevenant or a Registeel or something else that would beat my grass types. So my opponent's going to come in with the Trevenant. I'm going to go for the Shadow Ball because I've got the energy for it, and because I know that I'm going to be able to get to another Shadow Ball before they can fully farm me down, which is going to either guarantee me switch or both shields. I'm not messing around here. They're going to take it, and you know what? They can take it. One whole Shadow Ball delivered in full to the foolish Trevenant in the back that tried to farm me down. So I know that this isn't great for me because it's grass, but Tapu Fini would take it out with a Moonblast. My opponent just concedes. That's it. It's a good game. Well played, and there's a good lead here in the next match with the Cresselia in the lead. My opponent comes in with a Drapion, and this is a little awkward because I don't know if they're going to be running Crunch Aqua Tail or if they're running Crunch Sludge Bomb, so it's really hard for me to make a proper switch here. So I stay in, go for these drill runs, at least for the first time here. I want to hope that one lands, and my opponent lets it land. So now we're in a good situation because what I can do is I can catch a Crunch on my Tapu Fini and probably farm down before they get to a Sludge Bomb. I'm gonna hope. So we're gonna go for these water guns, and thankfully I am keeping count. They do get to take out this Drapion before they can get to their move, and this is fine because now I have energy to throw at the Cresselia, and honestly I'm fine with that because I still get to keep my alignment. Jellicent doesn't do too bad against Cresselia, especially if it's Cresselia not running Grass Knot, and I actually get the attack boost, which doesn't happen very often for me. It's very rare. So it is a Grass Knot wielding Cresselia, so I will have to keep in mind that they're going to throw a move. So I tried to throw on the CMP there, but they did go for one more, so good job for them. You know, they did that. That was a very smart move. It was very small, but it was a very smart play because now they can overfarm. And that's the thing that I do often tell my students, which if you would like to, join the rank of student and be, oh, this was painful. I remember this. Oh, I just blind swapped my Jellicent into that Guzzlord, and that is going to cost me the game. So spoiler alert, I do lose this one. So it'll give me a chance while you look at my foolishness and my struggle and my horrible attempt at trying to make something out of this absolutely terrible situation here. My students and I often, something that comes up that is, and I might even do a video at some point about like top 5 habits that are losing you games, because it's one of those things that just I think about once in a while. This Guzzlord's got a ton of energy, and they're just going to throw crunches at me, and I'm scared. All right, so the thing is that as I keep stalling, right? I keep stalling for content. The thing is that if you throw a small move, a move that won't KO, and the opponent doesn't like CMP you, or if they basically know that they can live this, and what they can do at that point is they can continue to farm more energy. So if I were to, instead of throwing that Surf, I would have continued to go for the Moonblast, what would have ended up happening is they would have ended up throwing a charge move at some point to keep me from getting to the Moonblast, at which point that would have also depleted them of their energy, which sometimes that's a good thing, right? Sometimes you don't want the chip damage because what you have, like my Alolan Sandslash into their Cresselia, right? That's totally fine. Well, normally this would have been fine. If I had just kept my Jellicent in back and let my Sandslash handle the Guzzlord, we'd have been in a good situation, but I was a fool. So, in long story short, basically, if you don't have to, don't throw little chip damage because that gives your opponent more energy with which they can hit you with later on, right? So if the opponent had farmed up all this energy, yes, it goes basically nowhere into my Sandslash, but it still would have, rolled. If it wasn't a steel type, it would have rolled them. So I'm going to go ahead and go for this drill run before they get to their move, and then I'm going to go into my Empoleon to try and, once again, check for a water counter. Instead, I get a Mandibuzz. And I hate everything because this is going to be one of the most painful matchups I've ever. This is bad. No, I retract that. It was worse when people ran Bubble Beam Jellicent. Okay, I remember that back in season 8 was this? Yeah, Season 8 when I was pushing the leaderboards when I hit number 18 using Nidoqueen Double Dark. My original team that I totally made. I do take credit for it. I did actually create the Scrafty Umbreon version for Great League. I do own that. No one can prove it, but I know I own it because it was there. Anyway, I'm not going to come in with my Alolan Sandslash because I don't want to tank a move here, but they will come in with the Giratina, and they have a Sandslash problem now that they're going to have to deal with. So I'm going to go for Guaranteed Damage or Shield. Opponent lets that go, and I can safely stay in here and farm up more energy because I have to, because I can't swap out because my switch clock is not up yet. But that's fine because Shadow Sneak is not going to do enough damage to me to make me warrant needing to shield or anything. The Dragon Breaths are double resisted. I can just farm this Giratina down and see what my opponent wants to bring into this now that I have a somewhat loaded Tapu Fini with 40% HP or so. And they're going to come in with the Empoleon, which is fine. This is very dicey. The Empoleon is still, pretty healthy and resists most of my moves. And I try to get slick. I thought I had a Shadow Ball loaded, but I didn't. I go for the one move. My opponent has the Mandibuzz ready to come out, takes the Shadow Ball, gets me with a foul play, and now I can farm down with my Sandslash. And what that's going to allow me to do now is I'm going to be able to get up to hopefully 2 drill runs before they can get to 2 charge moves. Now, they're at a charge move, and I have to shield this because if I don't, I will lose. I need to essentially get to a 2nd drill run here, and I have no idea how I'm going to make that work, but that's all I can do. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and hope that we're there, but we're not. It's painful. We missed the drill run, but we had energy on the Tapu Fini, don't forget. So I'm going to go for the Surf. I'm just going to pray that it's enough, and if it's not, we have a problem. If it is enough, yippee. Not enough. Do they have a charge move? No, they don't. We take that game. Thank you, Tapu Fini, Lord and Savior. So Sandslash in the next game into a Charizard. This is not bad. If you recall from videos that I did previous in seasons that we had the Shadow Alolan Ninetales, this is a pretty similar matchup, except it's better for the Sandslash because it's resisting the wing attacks. So what I like to do here is I like to throw the Ice Punch right away and then throw one more to align at the 7th wing attack where they might throw that Blast Burn, then swap to Jellicent. Hopefully they catch. Hopefully we catch it, and then my one opponent, the one person in the entire Open Ultra League running Umbreon right now, and it happens to. I haven't seen Mandibuzz and Umbreon in like months, dude, and now there's 2 in a row. It's just painful. It's just painful. So Jellicent is gonna just continue to throw Surfs here. I'm thinking that what I could try to do, since I've got multiple answers to their Charizard, and I can afford to give up Switch here, what I'm thinking about possibly doing is trying to catch a move on my Tapu Fini, possibly. And I don't really catch here, but I do make an instant switch instead. They do throw a move. It's going to be the foul play. They must have tapped it before swapping out. And then we draw out a Cresselia. And so here's the nice thing about drawing out this Cresselia is it's going to provide Alolan Sandslash at some point with an opportunity to farm. Now, I shield that up because I'm trying to keep my Tapu Fini healthy because I do have to deal with the Charizard that is still lingering in the back, as well as the Umbreon that is also still lingering in the back. Now, I don't know what this person would do if they were up against something like Empoleon or literally any... Like, when you have Charizard Umbreon, like, that unfortunately gets so core broken by Tapu Fini, and then the Jellicent core breaks the Cresselia. It's a mess. Unfortunately, they're running double, they're running... Cress is anti-water, but it's not, Umbreon's not. Umbreon's just really neutral. But the issue that we are going to end up having here is that if they run into a water lead, is all I'm saying. They have a problem. So I'm going to try to go for this farm down. I completely miss it, and then somehow I end up swiping my screen like a weirdo. So foul play is going to take me out here. Tapu Fini gets the farm down, and even though they've got 2 shields, they've neglected to use them all game, and everything is now within farm down range. Charizard is going to eat dirt, or eat water, I guess. It's going to get farmed down. The Blast Burn won't KO here. I will go for a hopeful farm down with my Jellicent, but unfortunately, we end up simul KOing, and I'm just hoping that maybe they don't have a charge move, and they don't, so we're going to take it. This Tapu Fini is amazing. Good game, well played. Sandslash on the lead in the next game against Tapu Fini. What I like to do here is I like to go for the drill run, and then immediately afterwards swap to Jellicent, hoping that they try to mash the Surf button in order to do some damage to my Alolan Sandslash, but it almost never works, and they end up swapping out with energy. The Registeel is going to come in and hard counter my poor Jellicent. It's going to eat a Zap Cannon, but the nice thing about Jellicent is that it can eat a Zap Cannon and still live afterwards. So they do get to farm you down basically at that point, but after that first Zap Cannon though, they can essentially they have to start shielding at some point, because the Shadow Balls will hurt, and if I decide to shield once, they have to shield once back, otherwise they lose switch, which would be bad for them, because Tapu Fini and the Tapu Fini is kind of awkward. Especially when they're up energy. It'd be bad for me, to be clear. Now, I could probably go for, I'm gonna go for back-to-back surfs here. Not gonna go for the Shadow Ball here. I'm hoping that this is enough, and it turns out that it's not. So this is really awkward, and they get to a move. So I completely fudged that up. I should have just gone for the Shadow Ball to take out the Registeel, but now I'm allowed to get some farm on something. So let's see what I get the farm on. It's the I farm down the Registeel with the Sandslash. My opponent has Tapu Fini, so I try to catch a move, but they go right away for one Water Gun and then the move, which is really, really, really good timing there. So I immediately now swap into my Tapu Fini, and they have a Charizard in the back, and that's just really unfortunate. So this person had decided to swap in their Shadow Charizard, and if I didn't have any shields, this would be a really good matchup for them, because actually Charizard with shield advantage can just clap the thing, but they just let it go. I think they realized they had made a mistake there and had decided to just no shield, let it go, and then hope that their Fini can close out with 2 shields, which, I mean, it could, I think. Except I'm not going to go for a shield here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use my shield, and I'm just going to farm down their Tapu Fini with my Sandslash, and that's basically going to be a good game. They don't have enough energy to get to 2 surfs here. At least I hope not. And if they do, then I just lose. But I've been trying to keep some count of their energy, and I'm pretty sure they don't have it. So that's going to do it for this one. Well played, good game. And that is actually going to be the last game. So do consider checking me out over on patreon.com. The little thingy should be appearing here on the end title screen pretty quickly, where you can get access to all these teams. My Patreon Discord members have been slapping with this team. You also get early access to all of my shenanigans, my strategies, my teams, everything before it hits YouTube. So consider checking me out there, signing up. And then if you're looking for coaching, you can find me over on Metafy. Links to all that stuff in the description and the pinned comment, and wherever else I can paste it, because I'm a shill for myself. So thank you all so much for watching. We're going to catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.